you. Let's call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock or 6:01. First item on the agenda is roll call.
Nyla Fry.
Here.
Trisha Brown.
Here.
Sam Kaufman.
Here.
Kristen Runge.
Here.
Aaron Moran.
Here.
Jill Zisselsberger.
Here.
And Robert McPherson.
Here.
Second item on the agenda is confirmation of open meeting compliance.
I can confirm that the draft agenda was published in the Waunakee Tribune on 3/15. The final agenda was posted in all three official posting locations on 3/14. And the final agenda and packet remained available online on 3/13. Just two important notes for the audience tonight. Please be sure you've signed in with your name, address, and municipality for accurate record keeping. And those interested in participating in public comment or public hearing portion, please fill out the form and provide it to me prior to that agenda item.
All right, next item is public comment. Do we have any public comments?
We have one, Isaac Drengsvit at 1510 Centennial Parkway, Waunakee.
Hello, I'm Isaac Drengsvit, the Waunakee Community High School Eco President. You've all heard from me before, you're not done yet. I'm here today to express our concern in amending the sustainability resolution passed on February 5th, 2024. The charge of the committee was to be one of strength and diverse interests with one common objective: to save our town from climate destruction. Removing a village board trustee can limit the ability for several trustees to be in agreement before recommending to the board any policies. Having 3 trustees also increases the ability for more elected officials to interact with sustainable issues more often, which is extremely beneficial to a local democracy on the front lines of the climate fight here in Wisconsin. We are fully in support of increasing community involvement and community members on the committee, but are extremely wary of removing our leaders from the mix. It is also important to us that this committee is started as soon as possible. I've been told many times that government moves slow, but I will again remind you it does not have to. Local governments have the benefit of moving much quicker than the state and national governments. No shade to Rep. Pocan's office here tonight. I love staying involved in local politics, but I do want to remind you all that ECO has sacrificed countless hours of possible study, homework, and rest time on this issue. It is important to us and myself as a constituent that the Sustainability Committee remains strong in its advisory capacity and village trustees are not removed.
All right, thank you, Isaac. Any other comments?
I have no other forms.
All right, thank you very much. Next item on the agenda then is consent agenda. Do we have anything that anyone wants pulled from the consent agenda?
Number 4, please.
Number 4, anything else? All right, let's move to approve the consent agenda with item 4 pulled.
I'll move approval of the remainder of the consent agenda. Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item passes. And item 4, Joe.
Okay, I just wanted a little bit of clarification on that one. Let me get that one here. I noticed there was a note that says easement to be vacated. I just want to confirm that there's nothing of significance in there, and it is only the easement that currently exists between lots 24 and 25.
That's correct. It's currently an easement on the plat, but it's not an easement that has been used by the utility or anyone else. So we're just looking to vacate that easement so the house can be put there.
Okay. Then in that case, I will make the motion to approve the administrative lot line adjustment to combine lots 24 and 25 of the Golden Ponds addition to Westbridge.
Second. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
All right, item carries. Next up is reports. First item, Plan Commission, Joe.
There were basically just 2 things at the Plan Commission. There was a discussion about a CSM and rezone for I guess it's the easternmost part of Woodland Crest. That would facilitate the development of some multifamily residential in that area. Plan Commission asked a whole lot of questions and ultimately asked for a couple of changes. So it'll come back around next month. The other one was an approval of the final plat of 6th addition to Heritage Hills, which will exist basically as the next extension to Brinig Boulevard. And that's the road that's directly to the west of the farmhouse right off of Main Street. So that was approved and that was that.
All right, thank you. Joint Plan Commission.
We had 2 items on the agenda. The first one was Woodland Crest. They passed on any action because no action had been taken by Plan Commission. The other one was just a conceptual discussion with someone looking for a CSM in the joint planning area in Westport. So it was about a 15-minute meeting and no action was taken.
All right, thank you. Library board.
The library board met last week, pretty quiet month, meeting wise, but library recently hired 3 new customer service assistants. The Friends of the Library had their annual Pie Day sale last week on the 14th, and the Bruce Company is starting to present their initial ideas to the landscaping development that will take place this year.
Excellent, thank you. EMS.
EMS met last Thursday, light meeting, but we did get the formal copy of the letter of agreement between the district, City of Middleton, and Wisconsin Policy Forum. So we know that it will be starting in July 15th. It will go through and have the report by December 15th. We expect that we should have updates presented to the EMS Commission a few times throughout the process. So I'll bring back that information as it happens. Then we have to vote to decide how we want the final report to be disseminated out. Probably we'll look to have it just given to the public. Otherwise, Wisconsin Policy Forum can release it themselves 60 days after the end of the final report coming out. Otherwise, new ambulance will be in 2025.
Excellent, thank you. Great Waunakee.
Great Waunakee also met last week. Biggest thing was recapping the Fall of Creativity. So another thank you to everyone that made that possible. Lots of upcoming things. Art on Main kicks off sooner than later. June, their display, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like a side table.
Okay,
sort of
that wasn't
thing.
confirmed yet as of Thursday, but
Yep.
it'll be a side table. So if you or anyone you know are interested in designing one of those, stay tuned. Or WRAP, just the Wisconsin Regional Art Program. It takes place next month. And then there's 2 different youth programs for kids of all ages to take part. And Make Music Day is soliciting venues. Registration for those are open on makemusicday.org/Waunakee. And preferential Waunakee resident applications and student applications for the Waunakee Artisan Market both close on April 15th. So those are the biggest things.
All right, excellent. And Make Music Day is at June 21st again?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Parks and Rec.
Park Committee had a very brief meeting. We approved the annual park use and fee waiver for Wanafest, as well as the PAYGO project list, which has already been approved on our consent agenda.
All right, thank you, Sam. Public Works.
Public Works met on March 7th. We decided as a committee to repave Arboretum Drive and Frank H. With extra funds that we had. We also discussed getting Kenny Architects to look at the Department of Public Works facility that we're hopeful for a facility analysis and conceptual site. We're looking at the needs for that project. We also approved sidewalk maintenance and stormwater best management plan. We approved for Strand Associates, which was on the agenda tonight. So.
All right, thanks, Nyla. Busy month for us here. Next up, well, other committees or boards. Am I missing anyone?
No, but can I ask a question? If I forgot to ask for a change in the agenda, is it, or the minutes from last month, is it too late to do that? It's just a typo correction. I'm noted as voting yay on something but I'm also noted as absent.
Oh, I'll fix that.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
Obviously, you can't vote if you were.
That was a cut and paste, sorry. I will fix that.
No worries. All right.
I do have one update
Okay.
for committees.
Oh, excellent.
This is the appropriate time to do that. So I just want to be sure that people know that they can apply for committees. Currently, we have 16 vacancies already available. Then we have expiring terms coming up in April. And we have 29 applications already for filling those positions. And to apply, I was just gonna share my screen and show you where you would go to do so on our website. And we are using the onboard gov applications. So if you go to the village website and you go to committees, you can type in committees. And if you go to the committees section, right here is the application to volunteer. And right here is the online form. If you submit it here, it goes directly into the pool. So you can apply for many committees all at once. You don't have to apply for just one at a time. You can put in as many boards or committees that you'd like to apply for at the same time. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help anybody through with that process. Otherwise, applications. Yeah, Nyla.
In the event that someone doesn't use the internet, can they fill out a paper application?
They can. I would just urge them to make sure that they turn it in directly to me. So we make sure that we have them all and we will enter that application then into the electronic system.
Okay, thank you.
Hey,
And then I just add, this was not I'm sorry, Joe.
Oh, no, go ahead.
This is not a small undertaking for Carla and the clerk's office. And it is a major improvement over our process that we've been working with. So kudos to the staff and for the board supporting the software to bring this to life.
I was just looking as well to clarify, although there are dates associated with these and the next wave of appointments will likely come in early May. This is an open, a
Open
rolling
process
concept.
year round.
Yep.
Yep. And at any point if you're visiting the particular board or commission page on our website, there's a little apply button right there for them. So you don't even have to go and search for how to volunteer. You can apply right on that board. You can see who's on the board. You can see the terms.
It's really nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice. Thank you for all the work that went into it. Yeah, it's pretty phenomenal. All right, next up, we have a guest tonight. We have an update from the office of Congressman Mark Pocan, and Morgan Sally is here today. So Morgan, we welcome you. You're good. If you press the button so that the light's green. We'll be good to go. Thank
Amazing.
you.
Can you hear me okay? I'm short. So, all right. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for having me tonight. My name is Morgan Solly, and I am a field representative with Congressman Pocan's district office. I won't take up too much of your time tonight, but mainly just wanted to come and introduce myself and put a face to a name for our office. And yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about the direct impact that our office can make for you all and your constituents. So the first thing, like that first kind of direct impact that our office can make, especially our district office, and it's kind of what people think about when they think of a district office, which is our constituent services work. So this would be where our casework team serves as a liaison between a constituent and a federal agency. So if you ever have any of your constituents who are having any, or you yourself are having an issue with a federal agency or something that needs to be checked up on, that would be something that our office can help with. So just wanted to talk a little bit about that casework aspect. And just about everyone in our office does casework. Even though I'm a field representative, I still do casework. So it's something that we're really passionate about doing in our office and a super important part of how we function. The second thing that we can offer is that Mark can write letters of support for federal project funding. So if you need a grant letter of support for a project, for a federal grant, that would be something that our office could provide a letter of support for from Mark. Next, our office can also look into government funding opportunities for you. So if you don't know of like what grants are available for a specific project, that would be something that I'd be able to help you with. I also have some cards on me that I will pass out. So if there's ever a grant or if you're looking into getting grants, but you don't know exactly which one, that would be something I can do some research for you. So feel free to reach out to me. We also have a website that you can go to for any of these things and many other things. And that website is also on my card that I will hand to y'all. But yeah, finally, I just wanted to say that myself and the rest of my team are in direct contact with the congressman, and this is to ensure any community needs are communicated directly to the congressman. And so if there's ever any issue that you feel like needs the attention of the congressman, that would be something where if you talk to one of the staff in our office, we'd be able to get that communicated to him since we have that direct line of communication. But that's all I have. I'm happy to take any questions, but I will pass out my cards so you have my contact information. Never hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to be a resource for y'all.
Thank you. What questions do we have? None? No. Congressman Pocan has written letters. I work at the university for some of the grants that we've had, and we've always appreciated it. You guys have been really quick about that. And I'm sure that we will probably use you to find grants for us
Yeah,
here
absolutely.
in Waunakee as well. Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. All right, next item on the agenda is public hearing, and we have two public hearings today. We have, the first one is to discuss and take action on a request by RDC Westport Farms LLC for the preliminary plat, final plat, and rezone from the Village of Waunakee C2 to Village of Waunakee R1 and R2 of 49.5 acres to develop 38 single-family home sites. And Lauren, are you presenting that for the hearing? Thank you.
So this is also what's referred to as Yahara Estates in your packet. It has gone through both our plan commission and the Joint Plan Commission. Joint Plan Commission did unanimously vote to approve the plat, subject to all the conditions and restrictions placed on the preliminary plat. So I'm going to read from the notes because their motion was quite long. So in addition, subject to final engineering plans showing all 38 lots being connected to Westport sewer and water, the development as designed meets with the final approval of Strand Engineering and the town's engineer and staff for water runoff and adequate retention to protect the adjacent neighborhood, and subject to a signed developer's agreement acceptable to the town, and further recommend approval of the zoning change from C2 to Village R1 and R2 as presented. So that was their recommended motion. Rather than, and Brian can tell me if I'm wrong, but rather than have you read off that whole thing again, we would just request that if you do vote to approve, you vote to approve as recommended by the Joint Plan Commission.
All right. With that, let's open the public hearing at 6:18. Do we have anybody present that would like to speak on this? Anyone online? No. All right. You would like to speak? Please come up to the podium, and the green or mic should be lit green. If not, there's a button there to push.
And if you could please state your name and your
Yep.
address for the
My
record.
name is Tom Kennedy, 5492 Kennedy Drive out in Westport. I just been through all of the discussions with the plat and with the zoning commissions and all, and everybody that's looked at it. And my thing would be that I would just caution everyone to make sure that we do enforce the restrictions that were put on that plat. There were 52 changes that had to be made. We're looking at a piece of land that sits right on the edge of wetland. People could be living in wet basements pretty quickly. It's also a very busy street. And if any of those corners are covered by people's backyard sheds or whatever, we're gonna have traffic issues with people trying to see around them. So feel free to use your zoning as you see fit to enforce that. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Tom. Any other comments? And nothing online? No, then let's close the hearing at 6:20. Trustees, do we have any questions or comments?
I'll start just because of clarifications, because I was struggling with this a little bit, and I'll admit it. The zoning changes that come with this, I had to look like 3 times because I thought this was in Westport, and it is in Westport, but why is it that it has to do village zoning? Is it because it's in the
It's in our
ETZ?
extraterritorial zoning jurisdiction.
Okay,
So it has to be rezoned to village zoning.
okay. And I'll just to get Mr. Kennedy's question kind of asked there, enforcement of this would be upon the village, upon the town of Westport to enforce it.
So the requirements that all of the conditions be incorporated in the plat, I think that would be a town enforcement issue. We are an approving authority because it's also in our extraterritorial plat jurisdiction, but I really think that would fall to the town. To the extent that there would be a zoning issue, then that would fall on the village, working with the town, because we have essentially zoning authority over the land in our extraterritorial zoning.
So if the developer does something incorrectly, we're the ones that have to enforce.
If it's a zoning issue. Here, though, I think it's in all likelihood, I mean, to the extent that something is in the plat and it's not constructed properly, that would be a town enforcement issue.
Okay, thank you.
Joe, did you have any questions?
Yeah, I keep looking at this thing and I'm trying to figure out why in going through this area that Kennedy Drive is not being shifted, straightened. I mean, why we still have this kind of strange direction that it takes. It seems that if there was ever a time to do that, it would be before all of this development happens. So.
All right, Nyla,
I'm thinking the same thing as Joe about.
your mic. Yeah.
I'm thinking the same thing as Joe about Kennedy Drive. I don't know what could be done, or if perhaps they looked at it and decided not to do anything with the road. Without having any background, it's kind of hard to know what's exactly been going on with that.
All right, so 2 questions about Kennedy Drive. All right, Tricia.
No, just another clarification, actually kind of building on Robert's question. If there were any deviation from the recommendation that the Joint Planning Commission made on our end, does one supersede the other, or how does that work? Not that we necessarily want to, I'm just
Yeah, when it
curious.
comes to zoning, I mean, if you have concerns about any of the conditions or recommendations they have from zoning, that we would probably want to send back to them, because essentially the way that we've established, and this is by state statute in our ordinance, if the the JPC is the essentially controlling authority over the extraterritorial zoning area. In other words, if they would have denied the rezone, we wouldn't have the ability to approve it, which is different than, just normally within land in the village. I'm not certain exactly what all the conditions are, and I'm also not certain why, there's been some questions about Kennedy Road. I think we would have to go back to the town engineers, and I think it was Wiser Engineering that made the application to ask questions there. So one of the things, I don't know at this point when the plat was filed. We always have to be aware, just one second here. I'm looking at page 67 of our packet, and I'm a little thrown by the fact that the plat application was October 13th of 2023, because typically under state statutes, you are required to act within 90 days. So I don't know if there was an agreement between the town and the applicant to essentially delay that, and because you have the ability to do that. If issues come up, the developer and the municipality can work together to essentially set a different deadline to have plat approval. But that would be something we would want to look into too, if the Kennedy Road issue is of substantial importance to you, to get you more information.
The developer did, I can answer the second part of that. The developer did agree to pull their initial application of the plat to take care of some initial comments that the town and the village had. So that's why there's such a delay between the initial filing of the plat and where we are today. They decided to wait and do the preliminary and final plat at the same time.
Sam?
Well, I mean, clearly I share the concerns that others have with the straightening of the road. This is the opportunity to do that. Obviously, this is our first time as a body seeing this plat ourselves. Perhaps it'd be appropriate to have this come back with a representative from Ruta Bush to explain some of these concerns more effectively before we actually take action.
All right, Erin?
Yeah, no additional questions than what's been asked already, but similar to Sam, wouldn't mind, I guess tabling it for sake of getting some of those answered.
Yeah. Did the developer say, we don't have anyone here from the developer, do we? No. Did they say why they weren't here tonight? Is it anything, Lauren, on that?
We don't have any communication to that effect from the developer.
Okay. All right, so it sounds like we are not ready to approve it. And I have the same question about the road straightening. I'm also interested in what they would have to say about the wetlands being nearby and code enforcement as well.
So
Mhm.
I think essentially what this would do is it would go back to the Joint Plan Commission, potentially even back to the town. So it may, we don't know exactly when it would come back to you, but my understanding is the questions relate to, environmental issues, the stormwater, and the road. I don't think that they're gonna be in a position, I mean, the code compliance is more on the town and the village as opposed to them responding to it, but, I guess what I'm trying to do is figure, I don't think that you need any formal action tonight. If you don't, I mean, it's up to you as if you want to, for example, you could pass a motion saying, move to, refer back to Joint Plan Commission to answer, questions as discussed at village board meeting, in particular related to, location of Kennedy Road and environmental issues. And then it's really gonna be the process as to when it's gonna come back to you.
Okay. I'll make that motion. I make a motion that we refer it back to the Joint Plan Commission for further examination or to answer some questions around Kennedy Road and some environmental issues or concerns we have. Kennedy Drive, thank you. All
Second.
right, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, item number 2 for public hearing and discussion and action on a certified survey map and amendment to the Monticello Square condominium documents for a lot line adjustment at 1310 Montadon Avenue. And Lauren, that's to you first, and then I believe Don is here as well.
Yep, so this request for the CSM is basically to create an outlot between the new lot 1 and let me blow this up a little bit and I can share my screen here. So right now there are 2 lots, which is lot 1 incorporating lot 1 and outlot 1 and lot 3. The new CSM is to create outlot 1, and what that will do is create shared parking space and access between the new lot 1 and the current lot 3. This has gone through Plan Commission and has been unanimously recommended to Village Board. The only conditions that staff would need put on this is to have any water lines that are shared between the 2 lots need to be identified and conveyed to public utility, as well as an easement recorded for the utility company. And that's at the request of the utility company. Are there any questions?
Public hearing first. All right, Don, did you want to say anything before we go into public hearing? All right, let's open the public hearing at 6:29 PM. Do we have anybody that would like to speak on this issue? Do we have anyone online?
I'm just checking. No.
All right, second call. All right, then we'll close the public hearing at 6:30. Questions, trustees? Nyla, do you have any questions? No? Robert?
To confirm, the goal of this change is to add parking for future development.
Sort of, yes. So currently, there's kind of overflow parking on outlot 1 from the condominium development that's on lot 3. And so this is to kind of legally record that shared space and create 2, still contain 2 legally conforming lots on either side of it.
Okay. Let me.
So it'll be shared parking both for the future one, but also make legal the current parking that's already happening there.
Make legal as in because people have created a parking lot by just parking there
Yes.
on the grass, because I was looking at the aerial photo. Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to confirm that's what the goal is.
And is one of the other goals driveway circulation too, between the lots?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Trisha? No. Joe?
Nothing.
Sam?
I'll make the motion to approve the CSM and amendment to the Monticello Square condominium document subject to final approval by the Community Development Director.
Second.
All right. Any discussion on the motion? None? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much. Those are our two public hearings for tonight. Next item on the agenda, first item under business is discuss and take action and resolution awarding the 2024 pavement rehabilitation projects. And Bill?
All right. As Nyla mentioned, we discussed this at Public Works last week, and we're looking to go ahead with a reconditioning pavement of Arboretum Drive and Frank H. The reason why we're able to do that is from savings that we've acquired over the last several years on current road projects. And where those savings came from is undercutting of the road wasn't as great as we had anticipated, so we were able to save that cash to help offset this price.
Excellent. All right. What questions do we have? Nyla? No, none? Robert?
Yeah, sorry. I should have asked in advance and I apologize for this, Bill, but
Oh, that's fine.
I realized that I can't look at the utilities, Public Works, I'm sorry, online in advance. So I don't know if this is in there, but what's the, I'm gonna probably say it incorrectly. What's the passer rating of these roads?
Good question. I don't know that off the top of my head. I know, I'd have to look it up. I'm
Okay.
guessing.
Because I was trying to, you got me to go back through my training book that they gave us
Yep.
on the league, and I was trying to see what reconditioning was, and I was just trying to understand how many years. I guess my question is, how many years will this add to those roads, do you think?
Oh, probably by doing this, we're figuring at least 20, maybe 25.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Because Arboretum is,
Yeah, well, our reading moved up faster. I mean, I'm trying to go off the memory. If I were to guess, it's probably right around a 4 or 5.
okay,
Yeah.
all right, thank you.
Aaron?
No, we discussed this at Public Works and I thank staff for bringing Arboretum to attention and having everything ready for us to thoroughly discuss the differences.
Excellent. Sam? Trisha? Joe?
No, I'll just say I was on Arboretum last week and I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. I have to drive Arboretum every day, so I will make the motion to award Frank H. Street and Arboretum Drive project for a total of $6,703, Oh, sorry, thank you.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the resolution to the 2024 pavement rehabilitation project to Payne and Dolan, Inc., not to exceed $673,146.25.
I'll second it.
All right. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. All right, next item on the agenda. Discuss and take action on resolution awarding 2024 sidewalk maintenance project.
And again, this is just our annual sidewalk maintenance program that we have every year. This year, we're looking to be in the 6 Mile Creek area with some small areas over in Eldora where we've had some trip hazards that we're going to deal with this year, as well as putting in a crosswalk in the Quinn Drive Baldwin Lane area for people to get to their mailbox. By doing this, we're hoping to get, I think 43 of our handy ramps up to ADA standards as we're continuing to do that every year. In anticipation of getting the entire village up to ADA standards that ramps as we move forward.
Excellent, that's great news.
Mhm.
All right, any questions? Joe?
JB Johnson was who did the work last year, right?
JB Johnson, we've had the last 2 years and have had real good luck with them.
Okay, thanks.
Trisha? Aaron?
No.
Sam? No. Nyla?
I'm ready to make the motion.
All right, Robert, did you have any questions? No. All right.
I move to approve the awards resolution and the assessment resolution for the 2024 sidewalk maintenance project as presented.
I'll second it.
All right, any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, next item on the agenda, and I think this one was a surprise to a lot, discuss and take action on amending a resolution for the Sustainable Waunakee Ad Hoc Committee. And I am the one that asked that this be brought forward. Simple reason, when I opened up the applications, the day after they were due, we have an outstanding, truly outstanding pool of applicants. A lot of residents stepped forward. As we have designated the membership, we've put quite a few restrictions on it. So we have 2 students and 3 board members, so 5 of our total committee members. Of the people that applied that do not fall into one of those 2 categories, we have somebody with an MS in environmental science and engineering and a JD, so a lawyer that's an environmental scientist, a PhD in chemistry, environmental law attorney, a JD who has significant policy experience at the municipal level, someone with an MS in social innovation and sustainability, someone with a BS in environmental science, and a former professional technical writer. We cannot fit all of these folks on and still have us. And as much as I think we're all passionate about the project, we are also significantly less qualified than some of our residents who stepped forward. So I would like to ask us to scale back the number of board members on the project. Board member efforts can then be allocated towards some of the other projects that we've got coming down or the other issues that we'll have coming down the road over the course of the year, and take 2 of these spaces and dedicate them to some of our residents who have stepped forward. In order to do that, we need an amendment to the resolution. And I realize that's really controversial. Go ahead, Nyla.
I respectfully suggest that we consider keeping the 3 board members on the committee and adding 2 citizen members.
Any other comments?
He can go.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. I would support it under the proposal that's Nyla would state. I feel very strongly that 3 board members need to be on it.
I'm not particularly in favor in increasing the size of the commission, but I'm sorry, of the committee. I'm also not in favor of reducing the number of trustees. I asked a copy of the list, so I reviewed the list as well. And I will say that there will just be people who do not get selected to a committee. That's how it works. I mean, there's a lot of people waiting to get on committees across the village. And I'm also concerned there's a lot of tendency to yield to people who hold degrees and have, extremely high experience. I didn't hear you list anybody that someone might consider like a layperson who doesn't necessarily have a job at a corporate, a high level corporate job or the time and money to get a PhD, but they really care about the environment. And so that's why they reached out to be on the committee. So I would just say that we should avoid having a bias on, making allocations just because somebody has a PhD or an MS. Somebody's just not going to get picked. I mean, it's a reality, but we have to do the best with what we have.
Well, and I would add when, having served on multiple ad hoc committees before, you want diversity of perspective. And that the one that I was on, which was dissolved by the school board, that was the #1 complaint about that committee. And by emphasizing really towards people with the highest level of educations, you're doing the exact same thing again.
Well, we have 1 high school teacher among the group that I cited. We have 2 students who don't have a high school degree yet, so we are talking a wide variety of educational levels. We have 1 person with who's not the teacher, who has a bachelor's of science in environmental science. So again, that's a diversity of education. We do have to go with the best we have. And if we are looking at making grounded recommendations that exist in or grounded in best practices, grounded in science, I would love for us to take this opportunity to draw from some of the experts we have in the community and step forward. We all will get a chance to weigh in on this when recommendations come back to us as a village board. These are folks who are in the community, who live here, who granted they do this for a living. I don't think we could have asked for a better selection of people to step forward and to say to them, we're gonna, thank you very much for attempting to help. But we're gonna place ourselves on the board feels to me just misguided. I'd be willing to agree to 2 trustees and expanding the number of people on the board. Erin?
Yeah, I'm fine with reducing the number of trustees. I think and when we were creating this committee and discussing it, I was fine with 3, but I was satisfied with 2. So it's great that we have so many people interested. That's a good problem to have, that people are engaged in the work we're doing. I reiterate that I think we get our chance when things come back to us. We don't have to just take the recommendation of the committees as we saw tonight. And I think it's really important that other voices are heard. And again, what Kristen said, if it's important to me that the work we're doing is grounded in science when it comes to this, and environmental best practices. And I think that it's great that we have a difference in education. I don't think it's bad to want more citizens that are very, I'm blanking on the word right now. Sorry, long day. But I don't think it's fair for us to say that we get our chance to be voiced, and we also can be engaged in committees. We could attend a meeting and learn the information. We can take this work back to our other committees. As we had discussed, we were going to go, and use this on the committees we are otherwise on. So, the more hands on deck, I think, is better in this case. And so.
All right. Any other comments? Tricia? Okay.
No, I was just going to agree with Erin on this, and actually Sam, where I do agree, because this came from the community and it is a new thing, having at this point in time with the creation of what the vision is and what it would mean for Waunakee, and the types of recommendations, whether it's to existing programs or new programs or initiatives, that having that mix of people with an education or a background in this type of work and knowledge, with just vision and foresight and interest and passion of, general community members like the students and the teacher. I almost feel like, not that our involvement is not important, I think it is, but I think it's almost more important to have that input at this point in time.
Nyla?
I agree with Erin that the more hands on deck, the better. And so that tells me having the weight from 3 board members being on this committee is very important. It also gives me reason why we should have more citizens on the committee, because we do have very educated people from Waunakee. We also have people who may have less education, but have the motivation and they want to get something done. And it takes a combination of many different people from many different walks of life to get a project done in a way that reflects the entire community. So I say more hands on deck, bring in 2 more citizen members, and keep the 3 trustees on this committee.
All right. Joe?
I just want to clarify, has there been any lack of interest from the board?
I've had 1 person reach out.
Okay.
Yeah, and volunteer to be on the committee.
You haven't actually told us to reach out and volunteer, though.
That is
If I needed to.
very,
Yes, actually.
I think ultimately the diversity of ideas is probably more important than the specific makeup here. That being said, we're already saying, if you're not interested, and if they're not interested, they're probably not applying anyway, but if they are maybe less for sustainability or anything in particular, we're already kind of weeding out that perspective. So my only real concern with making any additional changes is that we may be, cutting off another portion and limiting our diversity in that, but I think the proposal as it's put forward is fine.
Okay, yeah, good points. All right. So no to adding anyone, keeping the membership exactly the same, Joe?
Correct.
Okay, all right. I'm in negotiation mode here. So would we agree to adding people to the committee? All right, adding 2 people to the committee to keep it an odd number. see
I
next.
could back that.
You could back that? All right,
Adding 2 citizens.
2 citizens, yeah. Not the entire board.
Yes, like,
We'd have to meet on like Sunday afternoon.
yeah.
So,
To clarify, is this adding 2 citizens and keeping 3?
and keeping 3
Trustees?
board, yeah,
Okay.
3 board members.
Yeah.
Any objections to that? All right, we're gonna be a big committee, you guys. All right, I make a motion to add 2 citizens to the existing resolution, or amending the resolution to include 2 additional citizens.
So just along the line, so this would be resolution R 24-10. We just confirmed that at a staff level. So I think if you want to, based on the discussion, I think it would be motion to approve resolution R 24-10 with 2A, 3 members of the Village Board of Trustees, 2B remaining the same, and 2C, 6 residents, if I understood the discussion correctly.
7 residents.
7 residents.
So,
6
no,
residents.
because you're at 4 right now.
Six.
Oh,
So if you're
sorry,
adding to-
you're right.
Okay,
That would put you at 11, assuming you only have 2 students. Because the way that this is written is you theoretically could have more than 2 students in both resolutions, the one that you passed and the one that's in the packet.
we've only had 2 students apply. So, all right.
So it would, so I'm looking at pages 98 and 99 of your packet. So this is essentially the amended resolution, which would be resolution 24-10. And as I understand, the potential discussion is the existing resolution 24-10 would be amended so that 2A would say 3 members of the Village Board of Trustees, which is your current resolution. 2B would be the same as the current resolution. And then 2C goes from 4 to 6. So theoretically, you would have 3 board members, 2 students, and 6 residents, putting you at 11.
All right. Can I say so moved?
I
Yeah.
believe so, yes.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, go ahead, Aaron.
All right. Any discussion?
Yeah, we don't have anything in here that says 11, which based on the way 2B reads, we could appoint 3 high school students and end up with 12. Do we want to do anything to help make sure it remains an odd number?
I think
I think it does.
when we
doesn't
wrote
it?
that, or
Mhm.
it was because someone
Yeah.
in one of those other roles could also be a student, was my understanding.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think that was the intent, but I don't know that that's captured here. So that's why I asked.
Do we just need to say 5 or 6 other residents?
Should we just?
Couldn't
leave
you
it
just
as-
say 2 student members
Yeah.
currently as opposed to at least? I mean, if
Yeah,
that,
let's
Yeah.
just say 2 student
I
members.
think that at the time we were just concerned if we said 2 and then we had 3 qualified students, that we
Oh.
would disqualify the 3rd student.
yeah, I mean, theoretically, that person could be a resident
Yeah.
too. I mean, I would say this, I mean, the committee that you're putting together, it is only going to be making recommendations. And at the end of the day, even,
Mhm.
I mean, I'm not sure if there's really going to be a difference for you as a board if you have a 6-5 split versus, let's say you get a bunch of students that want to participate and it's 7-7. So, the value of having this additional students may be something that you think is really nice and be willing to not necessarily be concerned about having odd number because of the entity, as opposed to, let's say, the plan commission, where it probably is really important that you have ultimately not a tie vote on something.
Very good point. Thank
All
you.
right. All right, any further discussion on the motion?
I just would like to continue to stress that I hope as we go through this election process that we don't have a straight bias towards taking people who have the highest credentials, that we do get some people who have a passion for it that don't necessarily have the credentials, just because we don't want them to dominate the discussion coming from a position of, I know what's best, and then telling others that that's how it's going to be. We really need to have people that have a passion, not just not just the knowledge. And honestly, the science will come with it. I don't think that I don't think there's going to be a lack of science out there that we can have access to.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Item carries. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Next item up is discuss and take action on administrative review, compensation, and benefit adjustments. The village board may convene in closed session as authorized by Wisconsin statute 19.81C for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the government body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. The village board may reconvene in open session and discuss and take action on the subject matter discussed in closed session. So with that, do we vote to go to closed session?
Is there any reason why we have open session discussion?
No.
Okay.
All right. Do you have a motion to go into closed
I
session?
move to go into closed session.
I'll second it.
All right. Roll call vote.
Nyla Fry.
Yes.
Trisha Brown.
Yes.
Sam Kaufman.
Yes.
Kristen Rungy.
Yes.
Aaron Moran.
Yes.
Joe Zisselsberger.
Yes.
Robert McPherson.
Yes.
All right. And we will move into